It was supposed to be just another quiet walk. I wasn't searching for anything in particular, just some time alone, some peace. But nature had other plans. As I walked along a narrow dirt trail, surrounded by weeds and silence, I heard something faint. A soft, broken sound, almost like a meow, only weaker. I stopped. I listened. Then I followed it. Hidden beneath an overgrown thicket of grass was a hole deep, narrow, and nearly invisible from a distance. I wouldn't have noticed it if I hadn't heard that sound. I bent down, peered inside, and my heart stopped. There, lying in the dirt at the bottom of the hole, was an orange cat. She was thin, dirty, and worn down, but her body curled protectively around something. Kittens, 2 of them, tiny, fragile, and nestled close to their mother's belly. They were feeding, eyes closed, completely unaware of anything except her warmth. I couldn't tell how long they'd been down there, but everything about the scene felt wrong. The dust, the mud clinging to their fur, the silence. It was like time had stopped for them, like they'd been forgotten. The mother cat looked up at me. Her eyes were tired but sharp, not fearful, just determined. She wasn't going to let anything happen to her babies, even if it cost her everything. I knew I had to help, but I also knew I had to earn her trust first. I reached down slowly, extending my hand. She didn't hiss, but her ears twitched. Her muscles tensed. I spoke softly, gently, told her it was okay, that I wasn't there to hurt her. I moved slowly, petting her head. She didn't pull away, so I reached for the kittens. One at a time, I carefully lifted them from her side and placed them into my backpack, which I had padded with a towel. They were warm, round-bellied, and surprisingly strong for having lived underground. Their mother had clearly done everything she could for them. When the last kitten was secure, I reached for her. This was harder. She growled softly, low in her throat, not a threat, but a warning. Her eyes darted to the backpack, to me, then back again. I could see the panic rising in her body. She thought I had taken her babies. I pet her again, spoke gently, waited. She resisted at first, fidgeted, tried to back away into the dirt, but she was too weak, and eventually she gave in. I lifted her from the hole and held her close, feeling the tremble in her limbs. She was so light, far too light. I wrapped her in my jacket and walked quickly toward the nearest vet. They needed help now. At the clinic, the staff cleared a space immediately. We placed the kittens onto a soft, warm mattress under a heating lamp. They squirmed and nuzzled against the blankets, making soft noises, hungry, but alive. Then I turned to the mother. She was barely responsive. Her body lay motionless, stretched out as if every muscle had given up. Her breathing was shallow. Her fur was caked in dust and grime, especially around her eyes and paws. She didn't fight. She didn't flinch. She just stared. I took a warm, damp towel and began cleaning her, gently wiping her face, her ears, her tiny paws. She allowed it. She was too tired to resist. The vet examined her while I focused on the kittens. They were old enough to feed from a bottle, so I tried that first. They latched on, but didn't seem strong enough to suck for long. So I switched to a syringe, filling it with kitten milk and pressing it into their mouths, a few drops at a time. They responded immediately. Tiny tongues lapped up the milk. It gave them strength almost instantly. They curled up in my hands afterward, full and content. The mother cat watched, her head lifting slightly at the sight of her babies fed and safe. For the first time, her eyes softened. I sipped warm milk by syringe. Still wary, still uncertain. I didn't force it. Instead, I sat next to her, stroking her back, speaking softly. I told her the danger was over, that she could rest, that she was safe. After a while, she took a few tentative sips, then a few more. Her body was still tense, but she drank. It was a start. Over the next hour, I alternated between tending to the kittens and comforting her. The vet confirmed she had no major injuries, just severe dehydration, fatigue, and muscle weakness. Nothing time and care couldn't fix. So I promised to give her both. That evening, I stayed with them in the recovery room. The kittens slept soundly beneath the heating lamp. Little balls of orange and cream curled up together. Their bellies rose and fell in slow, steady rhythm. They were safe now. The mother lay close, watching. Her eyes followed every movement I made, every sound, every breath. Not out of fear anymore, but out of instinct, out of habit. She had fought for their lives every second of every day. And now someone else was stepping in. That trust didn't come easy. But then just once she let out a soft, low purr. It was faint, barely there, but it was real. The next few days were slow, but filled with progress. The kittens grew stronger. They started walking a little, exploring, purring when I approached. They were healthy, playful, and full of life. Now, they have names. The kittens, playful, curious, full of endless energy, chase each other around the soft blanket I laid out for them. They pounce, tumble, and curl up in the crook of my arm when they're tired. And the mother whom I've named Ember has changed, too. She still watches the world with wary eyes, but they're no longer filled with fear. They're calm now, observant, protective, but at peace. Sometimes I still catch her staring at me in the quiet moments, especially when her kittens are sleeping. She doesn't purr often, but when she does, it's deep and steady, like a heartbeat, like trust rebuilt, one breath at a time. What I found that day wasn't just a cat and her babies. I found proof of something far more powerful. The unspoken strength of love, the kind that survives without food, shelter, or light, the kind that refuses to give up even in a hole in the ground. Sometimes the strongest fighters don't look fierce. Sometimes they're just a tired mother, buried in dust, refusing to give up on her babies. She had nothing left but love, and that was enough to keep them all alive. They were lost in the dark, but now they have a future. Because someone stopped, someone listened, someone cared, and that made all the difference.